An interesting pattern showed up on the 1,000 subscriber special experiment that I did. So I'm going to try something like that again. So I've got a couple of shirts. I've got a ladies large and a unisex extra large. So I'm going to do two slight variations on the same pattern and see which one comes out the way I like it. So if you didn't watch that one, I used a can of, this is coil cleaner, but it's basically the same size as a can of spray paint, sinew, and some rubber bands. So let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and do the ladies first since it's smaller. So the shirts are prepared like they normally are. They've been in soda ash for at least 20 minutes and then spun to a damp state. So I'm going to gather the base of the shirt around the base of the can, trying to make it somewhat even all the way around. And then put a rubber band around this. And then flip it over. And do the same thing here at the top of the shirt. Now for this, I'm trying to keep the shirt. Now for this, I'm going to twist the shirt. So I'm going to put it here. Pull the rubber band down. Tighten that around. And I'm going to take the whole thing and twist. That's pretty tight. So I'll take the sinew, tie it off to the rubber band here, and then just work it around. Now if this looks familiar and you've done any tie-dyeing, then you know this is a Japanese Shibori method. And I probably butchered how that's supposed to be pronounced. So what I do next is a little different for this. Pushing this all the way down and then pulling the center out, letting the top collapse, letting the bottom collapse, and hopefully the dog will stop barking. Go ahead and tie that around. This around. Until that's banded tight. One down. So for the extra large, I'm going to start off the same. Slip the bottle in. The dog is not in a cooperative mood, is he? So let's bundle all this. and put the band around. And for this one, I'm keeping the shirt straight. So I'm just going to drop that down. I'm guessing an evil squirrel has infiltrated our backyard. Alright, so for this, I'm going to fluff that around. I'm going to bundle it up, drop the arms down, and kind of look around, making sure it's all relatively spaced well. And I'll go ahead and tie off the sinew. And wrap that around. It's a little more difficult on this one since everything isn't tight, and we're trying to not twist it around too much. Okay. So I'll tie it back on itself here. And then push this down again. And pull this out. Okay. And then just put the rubber bands on so that it keeps it tight. And there we go. Off to do the dye. This is the extra large and this is the large. Remember the large was done in a spiral pattern. Only two colors I'm using for this are turquoise and the cerulean blue. I'm going to put ice first and then do the dye, and then as usual flip it over and add dye again. The difference you need to keep in mind with this pattern is normally the top is the front and the bottom is the back. In the case of this, on how the shirt is actually wound, the top is the top of the shirt and the bottom is the bottom of the shirt. So let's get started, put the ice on and do the dye. Okay, we'll let that sit until the ice melts and then flip it over and dye the other side. The ice is melted. I think I've decided to do something different on the extra large. It's almost all the way through, as you can see. So I think I'm going to add a little more dye to this one and then ice on top of that, or ice and then dye, and just do it from this one direction. This one I'm going to flip over and go ahead and apply dye to the second side. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, so this will sit for 18 to 24 hours and then we'll do a washout. It's been about 16 to 18 hours since the ice melted. This is the smaller shirt that was dyed on both sides. Go ahead and do the washout on this one first. Okay, so let's take a look at this one. Yeah, it's not the look I was shooting for. So let's try the second one. Alright, so let's take a look at this one. So it's closer to what I was looking for, but I think I'm going to have to experiment with this pattern for at least one more video.